simple, easy layout here. Bend it, slide the swivel down, and clamp it closed. I'm going to teach you how to flip a fish. Rage Craws in amber, green, and black flake. Today I'm here with another Fish Hound 5 review. Beautiful fish. Hey guys, Straight Time Bass Man here. It's March and it's a snow day for me. I'm home at school, thinking about fishing, of course, as always. And what better way to pass the time and cure the fever a little bit than make a couple videos for you. So today I'm going to try to make a few, and my main one is going to be about springtime baits. Now, springtime fishing can be really tough for some anglers. You know, getting the right baits, the right actions to get the bass to strike. Yet it can be one of the most funnest times to fish as well. I enjoy springtime. It's one of my favorite times to fish, and it always has been, and I think it will continue to be as well. So I have 5 baits that I catch fish on all the time in the springtime. So I'm gonna go through, give you a couple of tips, a couple of colors, you know, what colors work, and explain the baits to you. So without further ado, here we go. Number 1 bait for me while spring fishing, the first one I'll have tied on, is a rattle trap, lipless crank, whatever you want to call it. This model here is a red-eyed shad. You know, Cotton Cordell makes their Super Spot killer rattle trap for like $3. The Bill Lewis rattle trap, you know, the Clackin' Wrap by Rapala, another good one, as well as the Rippin' Wrap. I'm sorry, not the Crankin' Wrap. The Rippin' Wrap by Rapala is also good. So those are the main ones I use. Color choices: I use a chrome blue, a chrome black, sexy shad, this green shad color, and then chartreuse blackback. All work very effectively. You know, just something about that loud vibrating noise, the vibration, and when the fish are coming up to spawn, that just really gets them kicking. So I have really good luck on those. That's why it's my number 1. You know, I could throw that all day long and catch fish all day long on that. You know, mixing up your retrieves, you know, giving a little jerk once in a while, all changes the way the bait darts and acts. So you know, that's really where you're gonna get you know, your strikes from, is when you change that action of the bait. Size, you know, a lot of these baits, 1/4 ounce and 1/2 ounce are mainly the 2 I fish. So you can go from a big one. So if I'm probably gonna throw the big one first, and if I really don't get a lot, I'll throw this smaller 1/4 ounce version, and that's for more of the finicky fish. So if I'm not getting them on the big, I'll definitely throw the little one, the 1/4 ounce, for sure, and I'll catch a fish. So that's my number 1. My number 1 springtime bait, and let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is going to be a suspending jerkbait, or a jerkbait in general. Hard, not a soft plastic jerkbait. This year is a Smithwick suspending Rogue. Been around for a long time. A great bait. This is in the clown color. Got a lot of flash, and what it does is just goes down. You jerk it a couple times to get it down to the right depth. This one dives about to 4 feet, and it just sits there, and then just suspends, and the bass look at it, and then you just keep jerking along, and it just suspends, and then eventually you'll trigger that strike from a bass, and they'll just nail that thing, and you're definitely going to get a fish. So that the Husky jerk, you know, I think this does. I don't think this one suspends or not, but I catch a lot of fish on this one. I think it's a slow floater, but at the same time, you know, it's still got a really slow float up, so it's kind of suspending there, but it's got a little more move to it. And then Bass Pro Shop suspending jerkbait. This is one I just picked up because I need a few more. I actually lost a couple, no, sexy shad colors, the clown. Again, you know, chartreuses if it's dirty water. You know, shad colors, bright chromes, all work well for spring. My third would be the Shad Wrap by Rapala. A killer bait for springtime. These flat sides on this crankbait just really get the fish kicking in cold water. You know, it's a really subtle, tight wiggle on this, and it's a finesse. I guess you could call it a finesse crankbait. You know, these dive 5 to 11 feet, so if they're suspended, the fish are suspended, you know, 5 feet is probably where they're going to be hanging around, somewhere, you know, that. And then if you crank it down a little bit more, you're going to be probably at 11. I'm fishing ponds, so 11 feet, you know, is about bottom. So I can bounce it off the bottom. I can, you know, bring it right through the fish. Again, you know, perch, shad pattern, another shad one, and this is a jointed. The jointed works well too. Those are all great colors, all a great lure for springtime. Now, my fourth would be a shaky head. That's really the only soft plastic I throw in the springtime will be a straight tail worm on a shaky head. You know, spot remover, Strike King shaky heads. I have an X Factor one. It's made by Gainer Mountain. Those are the ones I usually use. But you know, all of those work really well. Excuse me. For springtime. What I'll throw on them, Strike King Super Finesse Worm, killer. Green pumpkin's a good color. Greens, I stick with naturals. Green pumpkins, greens, watermelons. You know, I really don't. You know, don't. I'll throw the white once in a while. This is a trick worm. Those work well. Jackal Flick Shake in a watermelon, and then this is a Aaron's Magic 7-inch Robo Worm. That works really well too. All great shaky head worms. You know, just really subtle movement with the shaky head, finesse, slow fish that are on the bottom. That's definitely going to trigger strikes, and that's what you need in the springtime. My fifth and final bait, you know, if things are tough, I'm not doing well, is going to be a silent square bill. KVD 1.5 is my number one to throw, and this is a sexy sunfish. I'll throw that. My number one color actually is the chartreuse blackback. From March and April, if I'm doing any type of cranking with a square bill, it's always in chartreuse blackback. Last year I caught my first probably 20 fish on this bait. That's the only bait I used for a whole month of March and half of April. So, you know, that, and then here's the Rick Clunn, the Lucky Strike square bill. And this is a chartreuse color again. So, chartreuse colors, bluegill colors, shad colors, sunfish colors, all work great for the silent square bills. You know, they have a little bit wider action, but they kind of just travel around, and that's what you want, that searching, hunting action. You know, when the bluegill start to come up, that's the first thing that the bass feed on in the springtime is really bluegill and sunfish and shad. So that's what you're trying to imitate with your baits, and that's that's how you're gonna catch fish. So to go over a recap, my number one is the lipless crankbait. My number two is a suspending jerkbait or a jerkbait. Number three is the Shad Rap. Number four is a shaky head with a straight tail worm. And number five would be the silent square bill. So those are my 5 fish catching lures for springtime bass fishing. I hope this helps you out when you're trying to choose some stuff to put in the tackle box for a tournament or a trip. That's what I'll have in my tackle box for the first, you know, month of March and about 3/4 of the month of April. So it's about two of my tournaments I'll be using those baits. And then, of course, I'll throw a jig in my back pocket just for kicks. You never know when you're going to need. You can fish jig anytime. Spinner bait is also good to carry with you because if things are tough, you know, you can really jump into it. And you have something to fall back on. So that's what my lineup's going to be for the next few weeks and for bait wise. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this gave you a good little tips. And as always, be safe fishing and have fun.